June 9th, 1996 was a very special day. It was the day that I get called up. It's one thing to be a rookie. It's another thing to be a rookie and make your debut at Wrigley Field as a home player. And, it's everything it's cracked up to be. The intimacy, it's like a cathedral. You have this, almost spiritual experience coming out on the field. The grass, it just reminded you of like playing on a field somewhere where you just had not a care in the world. And I really was awed by it and came out and remember seeing my name in the lineup and almost not understanding that, wait a minute, that's Ryan Sandberg, that's Mark Grace, that's Sammy Sosa. And then there's this Doug Glanville character that I don't really understand the context. And, I didn't get a hit that day. It was freezing, so it was very Chicago. It's June 9th and it was like 40 degrees, it was rainy, but I didn't feel much of anything because I was just in the place I dreamed of being in. When you get called up, my first meal is something you're like, when am I going to get it? You don't know. You're jumping on a plane, you're flying in, you don't know if you have to go right to the stadium. But I think they had me on some crack of dawn flight, like 7 a.m. So I kind of scrambled. I think I might have checked in the hotel. I don't even know, maybe I didn't even do that, but I certainly knew that I love breakfast and I have to have breakfast. So no matter what, I was going to find a spot. And I think I may have gotten dropped off and someone mentioned, oh, there's this place called Salt and Pepper right down the street. And I like diners because they always have breakfast 24 hours. And so I went there and I'm sure I had my French toast and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And it was a good start. But if I don't have my French toast, maybe my bacon or sausage or something, I feel like, I'm going to pass out. Immediately I loved the city, and as I proved, I moved back here when my career was over. The kindness of the fans was always amazing to me because, here we were a team, we were fairly terrible, and they were still optimistic. Frank Castillo was a teammate of mine, and he starts off the year 0-9, and they're up there, don't worry, Frank, you'll be 1-9, you'll win the next one. They were cheering him on, and I knew that wasn't going to happen where I grew up right outside of New York. For them, they were not going to be so understanding. And I was a little bit of the underdog coming up. So the press were kind of behind me, the fans, let Glanville play. And, I kind of organically just earned a chance to play every day. Even when I was traded to the Phillies, the first week I came back here as the opponent, they were kind of on me. The bleacher bums were like, hey. And I said, hey, wait a minute. You traded me. Like, I didn't want to leave here. You traded me. So like, oh, you're right, Glanville. So after that, it was, we were on great terms. And so I have some very good memories here. Well, the reason I settled in Chicago was just the connection I had made with the city before. And also I had started becoming an investor in business after transitioning out of the game. So I had an opportunity here. I was like, oh, well, let me see where I could develop this. So I did some real estate development. And, it was that time of my life. I was newly married. It was sort of like, you know what, we need, we've been in Philly a while. Maybe we should look for new frontiers. Now, it's tough leaving Philly because I had built a longer career there, and I certainly had my university there, so it seemed like it would be easy to kind of flow into life after the game. But in some ways, sort of like when I went to Texas as a free agent, I needed to spread my wings a little bit. And my wife was ready to make a move. So we said, well, I can hit the ground running in one place and one place only. That's Chicago. So let's do it. And we got our plans together, came out here, and just sort of getting involved. So we've been involved with various charities like Boundless Readers and Athletes Against Drugs. And so we've gotten into it. And more with the schools and our kids now, we really feel it's a great home for us. What I like most about Chicago is like the flavor of the people. There's a warmth to it, and growing up in New Jersey, the fast pace, it's close together, everything is intense. But this has this sort of relaxed, more spread out. But with that, you still get the big city traditions. You have the concept, the theater, the music, the concerts during the summertime. People just come out of the hibernation, basically. I read Devil in the White City, Eric Larson's book, great book, and I always was fascinated by the architectural history. I mean, really, it's a true American city. It had an opportunity, despite the tragedy of the Chicago fire, it was an opportunity to rebuild. And you got these fresh ideas of new concepts and new architectural. So you didn't have this copycat flavor, you had something organic and new. Everybody always talks about, like, oh, I love Chicago. I haven't heard too many people say anything bad about Chicago other than it gets a little cold. We get out, we do the, one thing we've done is the architectural, there's a boat tour. I've done things at Navy Pier, gone to various events there. I've been to Chicago Historical Museum, and their society is wonderful in terms of learning and history. Shedd Aquarium, and the Museum of Science and Industry. I mean, it goes on and on. And with kids, you do a lot more. Lincoln Park Zoo. So we're going to try to do everything, and I think we've put a pretty good dent in Chicago, but we know it's limitless, so we'll keep doing it.